Okay, today on the Happy Families podcast, Real Parenting Solutions Every Day. This is Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. We're Justin and Kylie Coulson. We are discussing what I think is the big moment, some of the most compelling TV that you'll ever see Monday night on Parental Guidance. We were blown away by what happened in the last 20 minutes of the show, and we really need to spend some time chatting about what I think most of Australia saw and we're just astonished by. So let's do a quick reset and just get you up to date. On Parental Guidance this week, we focused on the topic of body image.
When we're talking about body image, we're talking about healthy eating, regular exercise, and having a positive view of your body.
This is complicated. Eat well, but not obsessively. Exercise, but don't go too hard. But how do we actually parent for this?
Let's reintroduce those focus parents so you know who we're talking about. First up, our authoritative parents, Elvie and Sean.
As authoritative parents, we don't really give our children too much choice.
To be good in piano, you do need a lot of practicing.
Elvie sets the rules in the family.
You only have 20 minutes left. Okay.
The girls and I obey.
Nick and Sophia, the positivity parents.
As positivity parents, we build up our children's self-esteem every single day by doing positive affirmations. I can't hear you, you've got to say it loud.
I am unstoppable.
Yes, you are.
I am exceptional.
You are.
Amanda and Hassan, hardway parents.
As hardware parents, there's no easy way out. We don't leave anyone behind. We all go do things together. Yes.
We actually choose to parent our children.
Josh and Cassie, life school parents.
As a family of 7, we live in our truck and caravan travelling around Australia.
We've been travelling for 3 years. They haven't been to school for 4 years. We just choose life schooling is a better way to learn.
The very last challenge of the night was for the life school parents.
We're playing the compliment game, and there's one more family left to see. Let's see how our life school parents went.
Give your parents 5 compliments each. Let's go.
As life school parents, we think a good compliment is one that comes from the heart and it's honest.
Okay, so I need to explain what unfolded because it's quite visual. You had to see it. If you're listening to the podcast and you haven't seen the show, maybe because you're overseas or you just haven't caught up yet on the 9Now app, here's what's going on. With the compliment game, the kids are describing their parents. They're saying things like pretty, nice skin, nice hair, awesome, fun. But it was really apparent that they had trouble spelling. Like fun was spelt with an M crossed out and then the letter N. Pretty was Prity, and so on.
The compliments were beautiful. There was a bit of a spelling issue.
Yeah, it was a funny one because the spelling and the writing and the reading, a few of them struggled at. Do they know how to read and write? Yeah, they read and write in their own ways. It's not like we sit down and give them pen and paper lessons. What we've seen is they might need a bit more help with that.
We have a high school teacher in the room. Amanda?
I'm just talking from my perspective. I just thought it was lacking a lot for their age. The youngest being 7, he should be able to spell and read really well.
Really well?
Well, for those words, yeah, they were quite easy words. Yeah, I would be giving them a lot more lessons in reading and writing. They need it.
A comment from one of the parents pretty well summed up the general feeling in the room.
I would be beside myself, to be quite honest. Whether or not you believe that you're limiting their opportunities for careers later, like you said, well, if they want to be a doctor, they can be a doctor. Realistically, I don't see that happening if they can't read.
Are you worried about where the boys are at with their reading and writing?
I'm not worried at all because they can read and write.
But we didn't see that there, and they
needed
very
a lot of
simple
assistance,
words like fun.
If you look at most of people on social media, they can't spell or use grammar as well.
And if you're not worried about it, at what point do you become worried?
One of the challenges is them having a good relationship with reading and writing and that sort of thing. We don't want to come on too strong and too heavy for them to be fully resistive to taking it
Josh,
on.
I need to jump in. You're not alarmed. Everybody in the room is alarmed. And I'm alarmed. They've got such limited capacity to read and write. They are not just behind, they're several years behind. How much do you read to them?
Probably not as much as we need
to be honest, it varies.
How much do they read to you?
Yeah, probably not enough to us.
Not things like novels.
Based on what we've just heard, they don't read to you at all.
Yeah.
Okay, Kylie, let's talk about this, the importance of reading. Something that we've talked about endlessly on the podcast, something that we make a really big deal about. Reading is the gateway to learning.
I've shared this a few times now, but I don't actually remember being read to as a child, and reading didn't come easy to me. It wasn't until I was in my mid-teens that I actually started to pick up a book because I wanted to.
Yep.
And then I became quite an avid reader. I love reading.
But you thought I was weird because I read non-fiction and you really liked fiction. And it wasn't until I started to introduce you to some of the incredible non-fiction that's out there that you started to see that was really exciting as well. Readers are leaders and leaders are readers. Recent research that I stumbled across indicates that, I can't remember what percentage of kids it is, something like half of Australian children, there's not even 10 books in the family home. I have family members who literally don't have books in their home. Full stop, end of story. 0 books. That's in my own family. It just blows me away how screens have proliferated and taken over our children's imaginations and our families' lives.
And just the other day, you actually told me we need more bookshelves.
Yeah, we do. We've installed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 bookshelves, and I'm saying we need more. We've got too many books, and I don't want to get rid of them. Like, we keep on culling our books and just keeping the ones that I'm most besotted by, and we love them. So reading is critical. We have consistently made sure that we read to our children daily. Our children see us reading daily ourselves. And while we don't read to our children so much anymore because our youngest is 11 and she just wants to read on her own, like I'll consistently say, can I please read to you? And she won't let me because she's completely absorbed in her own books and she's reading really big books. It's just so important that kids are being read to, that they're reading to us, and that they're seeing us read.
But I think what else is really important is that there are books available to them. So little Indy, our grandbaby, she's almost 2. She knows where the book cupboard is. And when she comes to Lolly's house, she literally goes to that cupboard, pulls out her books, and she will bring them to me and ask to be read to. But she'll often, if she doesn't want my time, she is actually really happy to pull them out and she will sit and flip the pages. Is she reading? No, she's not, but she's becoming acquainted with books. She's looking at the pictures. She's being enthralled and engaged in a story all of its own without having to know the words.
So we've done several podcasts over the last couple of years about how to get your kids to love reading, and we will link to those in the show notes. They're so worth the listen. We've really put a lot of time and effort into that, and I can't overstate how much it matters that children fall in love with reading. This matters so much. But as a result of what occurred, there was a fairly, I think, really, not fairly, there was one of the most important conversations that I've ever had on the TV between Josh and Cassie, the life school parents, and me. And I want to talk about the conversation that I had with them offset next.
Justin,
Yeah.
would you mind if we went outside and had a bit of a chat?
Let's go.
Okay, so you can hear the tension, you can feel it. The life school parents and their children had the challenge of playing the compliments game. During the course of the game, it became very clear that their children were struggling with basic spelling. Now, this podcast episode today is not about them and it's not about their kids. But there was a lot of confronting feedback from the other parents that was levelled at the life school parents. And so they asked if we could have a separate conversation offset.
I feel that I just need to explain something that wasn't able to be explained in the room around what has happened to us in the past. I unfortunately used my ego to allow one of our kids to go to school at the age of 4 because I had a prep, a year 1, a year 2 and a year 3.
It's a lot.
I thought that would create a bond, but it didn't. And what we have now is an extremely resistant child to sitting down and reading and writing. He's not comfortable with holding a pen and paper. Okay?
Yeah, I just don't know how to. I just want it to come out right.
Even if it's not right, it's okay.
he flatly refuses. Like when your dad's dragging you forcefully to the car, when you would probably rather die than go to where you're going. I'm fearful to what that message tells my son. Literacy is very important, but if we kill his spirit because he has to be at a benchmark because he is this age, then have we just taken a gift out of the world?
Kylie, that conversation, I think, was just so important to bring context into it, but also to make sure that instruction was clear and that Josh and Cassie knew what their children needed, regardless of the traumatic and challenging experiences they've had previously. It's just so important. But what I want to do is stop talking about them now and just talk about the broader question. When your child struggles with learning, when your child doesn't want to go to school, what do you do? How do you help them? What are the solutions? That's where we need to spend our time now. We've been there. We've had children who have refused to go to school. We've chosen to homeschool. We've dealt with bullying. We've dealt with some mental health challenges. We've dealt with neurodivergence. All of these things have been a part of our family and our story. So we have a huge amount of empathy, not just for our life school parents who described their experience, but also for anyone else who's listened to the pod and going, but you don't get it. I promise you we do. We've encountered all of those challenges and more. It's been extremely hard raising 6 kids, not all of whom have been excited to go to school every day. In fact, many who have just dug their heels in and absolutely out and out refused. It's been quite the journey.
For me, the biggest take-homes as we've gone through this process time and time again for very different reasons with each child is, number one, recognising that we can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. And we're not supposed to do it alone. And surrounding ourselves with the appropriate support, whether that be professional or otherwise. Finding the right people to put in your kids' corner and your corner to help you navigate challenges is imperative if we're going to get through this.
Yeah.
I think the second one for me is an acknowledgement that there is no quick fix.
Right. Yep.
As a parent, no one likes seeing their child struggle at all.
Hardest thing of being a parent is watching your kids suffer.
And just sitting here thinking about the struggles gets me a bit teary because it's so hard watching them and knowing that they're in pain or they're hurting. But the one thing we need to remember is no matter what, they need to know that we love them.
We're on their team. We get it. Yep.
It has to be at the forefront of every conversation we have with our children. No matter how hard this is, no matter how much you're frustrated with me because we're doing X, Y, and Z, or whatever it is, I need you to know we just love you. We love you and we're here for you and we want to support you and we're going to do everything we can. And then we take every conceivable possible step we can to show them that we're on their side.
Yeah, the reality is not every kid fits at school. Schools, there are some schools who do a really great job of catering for children who have diverse and additional and challenging needs. There are some schools that are just remarkable, but they are unusual. The standard cookie cutter approach to schooling doesn't suit every child. And our world is busier and more fraught and more stressed and more just overwhelming than it's ever been. Bullying is rife. Australia is the second most bullied nation on the planet. The US beats us out there, but our kids are being bullied at insane levels, both online and offline. In fact, if it's happening online, you can bet your boots that it's happening offline. And children just, it's really hard. So in addition to what you've said, and I really appreciate the way that you've said it and the things that you've said, a couple of other things to look at. Number one, you got to work with the school to the extent that you can. We've just written a letter to the school about one of our kids who's having a rough time. We've only got 2 kids at school, so I'm probably giving away a little bit too much there. But we've just said to the school, we are dealing with some really big challenges here, and we want to work with you. We want to be by your side. We want to be collaborating as much as possible to work through this specific issue. And that approach generally works better than yelling at somebody in the school office and saying, you people don't understand, you're not doing anything. So that's the first thing, work with the school. But every now and again, you're going to find that no matter how much you work with the school, you just won't get the outcome you need. At which point, I think that it's worth looking around at other schooling options. It might be a school up the street or down the road. It might be an alternative kind of school. It could be distance education. It could be homeschool. There are an enormous variety of options that are out there. And then it just comes down to what you can manage, whether it's budget or whether it's time, whether you're working, whether you can take time off. We have found with homeschooling that having an outside tutor has been essential to help our children stay motivated and to do things that you and I can't do or that the kids won't do with us. Looking at alternatives and being open-minded about it becomes imperative.
One of the things you've talked about so many times is the acknowledgement that avoidance isn't the answer.
No, avoidance reinforces anxiety.
And so it's really important that while ever we're dealing with struggles, that we don't take what seems like the easier road by avoiding the challenges, because we're actually just creating a bigger problem.
Yeah,
we're pushing that problem down the road.
If avoidance reinforces anxiety, though, what overcomes anxiety is action. Action is the key. So if your children are struggling, there has to be some form of action, having them involved in extracurricular activities, having them having a third space where they do have good relationships, or they do have a level of competence, or they do have a sense of choice about what they're doing. I would always say minimize screens. I would always be saying get them reading, back to the first half of this conversation. But these are the things that our children need. The last thing that I want to highlight and really sort of zero in on as we talk about what the solutions are when our children are struggling with learning is finding something that they are motivated to learn. Just find something that they enjoy, because what you tend to find is that when a child goes into a space where they have decent relationships, where they feel reasonably competent and they know that they're making progress and they have a sense of choice over their actions and activities, you find that their motivation is really, really deep and profoundly powerful. They're just so motivated. And the reason for the higher levels of motivation are because those basic psychological needs are being supported. So child doesn't want to learn, child struggling to do stuff, find something that they do love to learn, and you'll find that motivation will appear really quickly. Motivation actually follows competence rather than competence following motivation, which is what people often think happens. So much more we could talk about. I mean, it was compelling TV. It was compelling because there was a lot of emotion, but it was compelling because it matters. It really matters. And I can't thank Josh and Cassie enough, and all the parents on the show, for being willing to put themselves out there. I get pretty upset when people get onto social media and start making judgmental comments. That's not helpful. These are families who are doing a great job as a general rule. And when you look at how their kids did in every single challenge, we've still got one episode to go on Monday night, but their kids absolutely nail it. They're a great family doing really good stuff.
They're so involved. They're hands-on.
They're really, really good.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I think that it's really important, a reminder when you jump onto social media and say things, just be aware there are real people on the other side of this, and they're brave, they're courageous, and they've done what they've done so that we can have conversations like this. It really matters. Anyway, we hope that you've gotten a lot out of today's conversation. We didn't do I'll Do Better Tomorrow this week because we just felt like that was what we needed to end the week on and talk about. Thank you so much for listening to the Happy Families podcast. It's produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. Mim Hammonds provides research, admin, and other support. And if you'd like more information and more resources to make your family happier, you'll find it at happyfamilies.com.au. Parental Guidance episode 4 is back Monday night on 9 and 9 Now from 7:30.
Next time, in the last of our special events series,
We have an incredible mental illness challenge in this country.
it's the invisible crisis crippling the nation.
He screamed from 7 p.m. till 3 a.m. every single night. It was horrific.
Tonight's Focus parents will be back in the hot seat.
My children call me the most mean mom in the world.
How do our parents respond when mental health takes centre stage?
Boys aren't naturally nurturing.
They can be.
Stereotyping can put a lot of pressure on men.
And then the panel decides.
The parents with the best parental guidance when it comes to building good mental health are